Greetings, students. I'm going to warn you, this is going to be a long video, so maybe you should go get yourself a beer or a cup of coffee or a Mountain Dew or whatever it is you use to stimulate or calm yourself. This is a complicated lesson, but it is an excellent skill to have if you find yourself working in a research job. But since it's going to be so long, let's start out with a joke. Okay, what did the fish say when it hit the wall? Damn! Okay, well, I thought it was funny. Okay, you're going to create a syntax file in SPSS. Syntax files are computer code that tells SPSS what to do, and it reduces 10 hours worth of work into 1 second if you can set this stuff up. Okay, you're going to need 3 files here. One of them is a database that I have created for you. Another one is a syntax code example Word document, and the last one is the Facebook intimacy survey questionnaire, which you're going to use to create your syntax file. So let us go down here to the start button, and I'm going to click it and type IBM, and SPSS should pop up. So I'm just going to hit enter and wait for it to open. I hope that all of you were able to download SPSS. Make your life so much easier. So I'm just going to close this introduction screen, and then I'm going to go back to the class, and I'm just going to click right here where it says database, and then click down here to open it, and it'll say, do you want to find an application in Citrix to open this file, and just click no, and it should open it anyway, right? Since we downloaded SPSS onto our own computers, we shouldn't have to use Citrix. So this is what this file looks like, okay? And notice down here in the lower left right away that what you're going to be working, or actually this file was created in variable view. That's the same view that you used to start making your database from your questionnaire, right? And it's really similar to the questionnaire, because what I have in this file is a whole list of variable names created from that social media questionnaire. Okay, and I want you all to use this. Number one, it'll save you time. Number two, I won't have to mess around with 35 different lists of variable names, okay? Okay. The next thing you need is a social media syntax code example, and if I click that, then this document pops up. And it has syntax code for the first 3 questions in the questionnaire. Okay, so let's go back to the class, and we'll click this questionnaire document and open it up. And this is what the questionnaire looks like. And look at question number 1. You know, what social media do you use the most? And it has a list of different platforms, okay? Now, what I've done for the very first variable name is just created a name called SocMedMost. Okay, that's you know, a small version that will remind me of what that question is. You know, what social media do you use the most? So that's where all these variable names came from. This syntax code document is divided into 3 sections. The first is variable labels, the second is value labels, and the third is missing values, right? And you should be familiar with these 3 things if you have been working on your database from your questionnaire. I would advise you to work in this section until you are completely finished with it. The only thing you're making in this section are variable labels, right? So in the first one there, I have the variable name, SoCMeDMost, and then the label that I created for it, right? Social media respondent uses the most. Okay, remember that in variable names, the case doesn't count. You can have it be all small case or, large case if you want. But when you make a label, remember, every time you make a label, you have to use title case. That's why the S and the M and the R and the U and the M are capitalized. Okay? So we have the database open. I'm just going to shut down and get rid of that output screen. And we have the social media syntax code, and we have the questionnaire. So here's the first thing I want you to do. Go into this database window and click on File and New and Syntax. What that's going to do is bring up a brand new blank syntax window. Something you haven't seen yet. So far you've seen data windows and output windows. This is where you write syntax. So go down and let's look at our syntax code. And what I want you to do is copy all of this code. Okay? Everything but the title of the document. And then we're going to go into the syntax window, and I want you to paste it there. Bing! I'm going to blow this up just so we can see it. Look at what happens here. Here again, you have one section for variable labels, one section for value labels, and one section for missing values. Okay? Again, I think it would be in your best interest to work on the variable labels until you're done with them. Now, once you paste this stuff in here, I would definitely go to File and Save As, and wherever you save your stuff, your files, save it in there. And make sure you save it somewhere so you know you can find it again. And what you should name it is syntax code and your last name. Okay? So mine says syntax code Kilpatrick. Just put yours as syntax code and your last name. And then save it. Because, oh boy, we don't want to be working on this for an hour and a half and all of a sudden have something shut off and not have it saved. Another thing about saving is, when you finish with 5 variable labels, I would keep saving it, If I type anything in the syntax main window, this blue disk is going to turn blue. And all I have to do to save it again is just click it. And when that blue disk is gray, then the document is saved. And of course, you can always go to File and Save there. Okay? Okay. Look at the first question. What social media do you use the most? Now look at the second question. Which of the following forms of social media do you use? And it has this instruction. Remember this one? When you were writing your questionnaires, you probably made 1 or 2 questions with the select all that apply instruction. In the first question, all you have to do is I'm going to go back to the syntax code window. All you have to do is make one variable label. But when you have an instruction that says select all that apply, then you have to make a variable label for every answer in that list. Right? Let's go back to the questionnaire. Here's the second question, select all that apply, and here are all my answers. Twitter, Facebook, all the way down to other. And you can see that in this document, I have Twitter, Facebook, all the way down to other. Okay, when you create variable labels for a select all that apply question, this is how you do it. You know, instead of just typing like I had above that, Socialmedia most, you have to type whatever your variable name is. So for the first one, it's going to be Socialmedia type _1. And then the label is types of social media respondent uses, and then dash and the answer. And once you type one of these, then you can just copy it and paste it as many times as you need to, and then change these numbers. So it's 1, 2, 3, down to how many you need, and then change the answer choices. Okay? So you can see for question back in the questionnaire document, for question 2, 3, and 4, there are instructions for select all that apply. These are the only questions that have that. And I've given you 2 of them in this syntax example document. I've already done question 2 here, Socialmedia type 1 through 9, and I've already done question 3, Socialmedia Y 1 through 8. Okay? So here's question 2, here's question 3. You're going to have to start with question 4. What type of device do you use to access social media? Okay, so the first thing you need to do in this variable label section is, you see how the very last variable label that I've created in syntax, it has a period at the end. I want you to get rid of it. Just put the cursor there, backspace, and put a slash, just like all the other ones have, okay? Then you can keep going. And for question 4, let's see, back to the questionnaire. It says, what type of device do you use? Select all that apply, and it has 5 answers. Cell phone, laptop, desktop, tablet, and other. So in the syntax window, actually I'm going to go to the data window first and show you that I have already created variable names for question 4. Device _1 through device _5. And you have to use those variable names. So I'm just going to hit enter and type device _1 and then a space and then a single quote and then my variable label. And I'm going to change that question to a statement. Type of device respondent uses to access social media. And I'm going to put a dash and then type cell phone. And then I'm going to put a single quote and a slash. That's how you have to type all of these variable labels. They need the variable name, they need a single quote, and then the variable label, and then a single quote and a slash. So like I said before, if you're going to make 5 of these for the question 4, once you make one of them, then you can just copy it. Let's see, I highlight it, right click and copy, and then right below it, I'm going to paste it 4 more times. So paste, enter, paste, enter, and I have 5 of them now because there are 5 device variables. And in the questionnaire, these are the answer choices that I need: laptop, desktop, tablet, and other. So that's what I'm going to put in the syntax window. Okay, first I have to change these numbers to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I have to change the answers from cell phone to laptop, and then desktop, and then tablet. You don't have to put all the other things after tablet, and then other. That's what I had, right? Yeah, tablet and other. Okay. Now, let's look at the questionnaire again. The next question does not have select all that apply. After question 4, none of the following questions have select all that apply. So you no longer have to make multiple variable labels for one question. Okay? Look in the database. You can see after device 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't have any more underscores with numbers. I only have one variable for each question. Okay? So, let's look at the questionnaire. And the next question is, on a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 equals the most content, how content are you on an average day? So you're asking people to write a number here between 0 and 10. But for the variable label, all we're concerned about is using the variable name that I've given you and making a variable label in this syntax window. So after my last device variable label, I'm just going to hit enter, and what I have in the database is content. So I'm going to type that, hit space, put a single quote, and then I'm going to put whatever I decide my variable label is. Like average contentment level for respondent, and then a single quote and a slash. Actually, I think I'm going to put average daily contentment level for respondent. Okay, remember, all of these things have to be typed out the same way. The variable name, a single quote, the variable label, and then a single quote, and then a slash. Only on the very last variable label do you put a period instead of a slash. Okay? The very last one that you're going to make is work. So when you create the variable label for work, remember to put a period after that instead of a slash. A period tells SPSS that you are all done with the variable label section. Okay? All right. So I will let you continue on with the questionnaire. Actually, I'm going to do one more with you. Number 6, how many times a week do you go out with your friends? So I'm going to look in the data window. I'm going to look at the variable name that I created, out friends. I'm going to go into the syntax window, go to the next line and type out friends, hit space, hit a single quote, and I'm going to type whatever label I create for it. Like number of times per week respondent goes out with friends. Single quote and a slash. Now look, I've capitalized NTWRGOF, right? Remember, when you make a label, and these are all variable labels, you need to use title case, okay? All right, let us move on to the value labels section. Value labels, as you remember from your own questionnaires, are just the answer choices, right? So for the first question, what social media do you use the most? These are the answer choices, from Twitter all the way down to other. And in the value label section of the syntax window, that's what you are going to create. Now look here. In the variable label section, for the first variable, I used the variable name that I created, SochMed most. I'm using exactly the same variable label in the value label section. That is super important. These variable names have to match up. And the way that you create a list of answers for value labels in this section is, you are creating for the first answer of Twitter, you're typing a 1 and a space and a single quote mark, and then the answer, Twitter, a single quote mark, and then you go to the next one. Okay, notice how I didn't put a slash after the first answer, or the second, third, fourth, all the way down to the very last answer. That's where the slash goes in the value label section. Okay? The slash only appears after the last answer. So when you are creating these on your own, you're going to use the variable name that I've given you in the database, and then you're going to type out the answers just like this. And yeah, you have to use the values for the missing values. So 98 in this case for DK, 99 for NA, and 0 for NAP. You have to create those value labels too. Okay? That one's pretty straightforward. It is the first question. Now we get into these questions with select all that apply again. Remember, 2, 3, and 4 are the only ones with select all that apply. Okay? So it's a little bit different, but not as much work as in the variable label section. In value labels, I can put all 9 variable names in a row, and then just make one list of answer choices for all 9 of those variables. Now the way that I type that is, remember, it is the exact same variable name that you used in the variable label section. So I have Sochmead type _1 and then a space, and then Sochmead type _2 and a space, and then all the way out to Sochmead type _9. And then under that row of variables, then I'm just going to create the answer list. And the answer list for select all that apply questions are just 1 equals yes and 2 equals no. Now, why is this yes red? Well, it's just being fussy. So if I back up over that single quote mark and retype it, it'll change it to black font, and that's what we want. I don't know why it does that. It just likes to mess with people. Okay, so for select all that apply, you list all the variable names in a row and then put 1 set of answers. Okay, so for the next question, why do you use social media? Select all that apply. We created 8 variable labels for this. I need to use exactly the same variable names again, and I'm going to put all 8 of them, right down here in a row. Exactly the way I did for Sochmead type. It's Sochmead Y _1, space, Sochmead Y _2, space, all the way out to Sochmead Y _8. And then, this set of answers, I can use the exact same set. I can right click and copy that and just put them right down here. Okay? Now, I'm going to do question 4 with you. Let's see. Back to the questionnaire. Remember question 4, what type of device do you use to access social media? Okay, we made 5 variable labels for this question. Up here, device _1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to make a row list of those 5 variable names. So I'm going to type device _1 space, device _2 space, device _3 space, device _4 space, and the 5th one, device _5. Now remember what I said about the answer choices. When you're setting up value labels for questions that are select all that apply in a syntax window, these are the answers that you need. So I'm going to highlight them, copy them, and paste them right here. Boom. Okay? Because when people answer these questions, if select all that apply, they're going to check as many as they want to. They could pick all 5 answers if they want to. And in the database window, there's only going to be 1s and 2s. For 1 equals yes, they picked it, or 2 equals no, they didn't pick it. But you don't have to worry about that right now. Just remember, whenever you set up select all apply in syntax, use these answer choices. Okay? All right. So let's move on to question 5. And I've put a little hint in here for you. Question 14 is similar. So the same question. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is most content, how content are you on an average day? And I've given you this hint, right? For question 5, set up the value labels like this. So you don't have to make a label for every single answer choice. All you have to do is make labels for 0 and 10, and then the missing values of 98 and 99. Okay? So what I'm going to do is just copy this. I'm going to highlight it and copy it and go back to my syntax window. And I'm going to look up here and see that my variable name for that question number 5 is content. So I'm going to type content, hit enter, and just paste those answer choices in here. Now you can do a lot of copying and pasting from the questionnaire to the syntax window. But what you might find is that it kind of throws things all over the place. Plus the fact that me copying and pasting, I don't have the single quote marks that I need on either side of each answer, right? So I'm going to have to go back in and put these in here. And then on the last answer choice, I'm going to put a slash. Okay? Now I have NAP in the first 4 questions, but let's not worry about that for the rest. Okay? Let's just put DK and NA for the rest. So I have the variable name content. I have the answer choices that I want. And then I have the missing values. And the slash after the last one. Okay? So let's go look at question number 6. Again, how many times a week do you go out with friends? Okay? I want to say this again. No questions after question 4 have select all that apply. So you only need to make one variable label and one set of answers for each question after question 4. Okay, how many times a week do you go out with friends? I'm going to highlight this answer list and copy it. And I'm going to go into the syntax window and I'm going to look and make sure that I use exactly the same variable name. So I'm going to type out friends and hit enter, and I'm going to paste these answer choices here. Now it did the same thing here. It kind of shot these things out, you know, indenting them. How nice of them to do that for me. So I'm going to move all these over. And then I have to fix these up, okay? One thing we definitely do not want are periods after the numbers. So I'm going to get rid of those periods. And then I'm going to put the single quotes on either side of each answer choice. Including DK and NA. Whoops. And then after NA, I'm going to put a slash because I'm done with that variable. Okay? So I've taken you down to question 6 in the variable labels section. I've taken you down to question 6 in the value labels section. So let's talk about missing values. Notice how this missing value is not blue font, but these two are. Okay? When you're all done with this syntax code, the section headers of missing values and value labels and variable labels should all be blue. Okay? Now, that all has to do with having a period after the last entry in each section. Remember, I told you that after the last variable label, you had to put a period instead of a slash. And what happens is that changes this value label section header to blue. Okay? Now you can't put a period until you're all done with all variable labels and all done with all value label entries. So I'm going to change this back to a slash because I still have more work to do there, and that changes this back to black font instead of blue font. So don't worry about it. You know, just keep working. Okay. Missing values, you're going to have, let's see, I think I'm going to have mercy on you and just put, I want you to get rid of the last missing values section. You're only going to have 2 of them. The first section is going to have an instruction like this, which contains in parentheses the missing values 0, comma, space, 98, comma, space, 99. What you need to do is type in the variable names for every variable that uses 0, 98, and 99, or just 98 and 99. Anytime you see value labels with 98 and 99, like for device, you need to type these variable names in here. So I'm going to, I already have it in there for Sochmed most. I'm going to go in here because all the Sochmed types have 98 and 99. I'm going to copy these, highlight them, copy them, and paste them right there. And put a space. Okay? Sochmed Y and device. And I'm going to take all of these out of here. Let's see. Yeah. Let's just take them out. I don't want you to get confused. The next one is Sochmed Y, and those also have 98 and 99. So I'm going to highlight those and copy them and put them there. Now, when this list or this row starts to get out here pretty far to the right, I would stop it somewhere about there and just place the cursor there, hit enter, and keep going on the next line. When the rows start shooting out too far to the right, SPSS kind of hiccups. Okay, so the next one I have with 98 and 99 are all 5 device variable names. So I'm going to highlight those and copy them because it has 4 missing values, 98 and 99. And I'm going to paste those here. And then hit enter. So you see what I'm doing? Sochmed most has 98 and 99. All the Sochmed types have 98 and 99. All the Sochmed Ys have 98 and 99. And all the device have 98 and 99. That's what I'm going to put down here. Also, the content variable value label or answer list also has 98 and 99. So I'm going to highlight and copy that and paste that down there too. Okay? So remember that every variable name has to have a space in between them. There's no comma necessary, just space. Okay? There probably is going to be a couple more that you're going to put in this list, but there's the rest of them, I think, are going to go in this list that has 8 and 9. Okay? Now, the only one we have here so far that has 8 and 9 as missing value codes is out friends. So I'm just going to highlight that and copy it and paste it as the first variable name in that missing value list. Now, as you move along in the questionnaire, the next question is, do you check social media while you're out with friends? The variable name that you're going to use for that is check friends. And then, probably most all of these and all of these are going to end up with 8 and 9. So you're going to have a lot more variable names in that 8 and 9 missing value list. So I'm just going to put check friends in that list. Right after out friends, I'm going to put check friends. Okay? Now remember, this is super important. However this variable name is spelled, here, check friends, and here, they have to be the same, okay? The next one that you're going to make a variable label for is going to be check friends, exactly the way it's spelled here. Then when you get down in the value label list, and the next one after out friends is going to be check friends, it has to be spelled the same way. Then when you get into missing values, it has to be spelled the same way, okay? In all of these 3 sections, the variable names have to be consistent. They have to be spelled the same way, okay? So I have content here, and content here, all spelled the same way, okay? So I think I'm going to stop there. You should have enough information to continue on. I would make all the variable labels first, and then I would make all the value labels next, and then I would make the missing values after that. Okay? Then when you've completed your syntax list, the coding, you can go to the next video. Okay? And I'll show you what we're going to do with the syntax code. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Wasn't that fun?